Hello everyone, it's Nick Lawson with cdc-TakeCharge Services, and this is Lesson 10 on how to build a more robust and user-friendly contact management application in Alpha software. Today we're going to discuss the differences between a standard memo field and a rich text memo field in Alpha software. Let's open up our form. Notice that we've gotten rid of the start menu for our contact app, and it's now a drop-down on our calendar clock, which we'll go over at a later date. We pop up our form, and we're going to find a contact that's got some memos on it. Let's go to Brad here. Okay, now, as soon as I selected Brad, the on-fetch event of the people form found the phone call memo and displayed it in our text object on the screen. If I want to see the other one, the online memo, I simply select it, and it displays in the text box. If I want to see the follow-up memo, because this one says it has a follow-up, I can click on Show Follow-up, and there's the follow-up for that memo. All that takes place in one single text object on the screen. We're going to look at the code at how that's done. So let's close out of here. We're going to go to our control panel. Now up to this point, we haven't done a whole lot of coding in Alpha software using xBasic, but that's going to change. First, we have an onFetch event on our form, which takes and finds if there's any activities assigned to the individual contact. So what we do is we go to onFetch, and here, the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our text box on the screen is displaying the right memo information. And that is that it should be the contact memo data. Reason is that there will be no follow-up data if there wasn't a contact memo to begin with. So that's one we want to display as we fetch through the records. If it's on the wrong one, it automatically switches it. Then this is the new code. Now, our contact memo field, I've changed to a rich text memo field from a plain text memo field. In order to take and assign that rich text values to our text object on our form, we have to use the field get, convert the values in the field to binary text, then convert the binary text to plain text, attach it to a variable, and assign that variable to our text object on our people form. Now that sounds like a lot, but really there's not that much to it. We set two variables. We have a CID for our contact ID, CMemo, which is going to be our text string once it's converted. Down here, we set our table to P for pointer, and we set bin as a blob. Then once we take and use the field get, we create an RTF object. We take and use the values that we got from our field get, and we assign it to the binary text for our pointer. Then we convert that using the bin to plain, the plain text, and attach it to our variable. Finally, the variable is assigned to the text object on the form, and that's it. It's done. So that's the onFetch event. Now, we also had to take and change the code on this Show Follow-up memo button. On push, if the label on the button, so I'm basically using a label rather than creating another variable. If the label says Show Follow-up Memo, then I want to take and find just the text from the follow-up memo field. And in this case, since the follow-up memo field is still a plain memo, that plain memo text is plain text. So all we have to do is set the value of our object on the form to equal the value of our variable. However, if the button says Show Contact Memo, then the contents of our memo field will be the contact memo. And again, we have to do the binary text conversion in order to take and get the desired result. That's it for that. We have to put that one more place, and that's onFetch in our activities table. here on fetch. And here you go. Again, it just goes through and will find the appropriate value for our contact memo. Now, when we take and open our memo form, again, we have a fair amount of code to write. We're assigning a global variable, xid, so that that variable will be available to us on our note writer form. We set that value to equal the activity ID. Then we do a record count using table count. If activity ID in the activity memo table equals our global variable, then it'll find a record. If it does not find a record, we know we need to create a new record. So it automatically does that for us and then switches to the appropriate contents on the screen so that we can write the memo either as a contact or a follow-up memo. Otherwise, if it finds a value, then we want to edit whichever note that we're on. So it does a query filter expression using activity ID equals activity ID.text, or really x underscore ID or global variable. I could have used either one there. Then same thing, we switch the form to match whichever record we're calling for so that you're editing the right memo field. Notice down here that under either condition, if you're the first part of the expression of the if-else statement, we take and show the object, and then we have a form close. If we found a matching value, we also have a form close below that section. The reason for that is when you pop up a form using the form load and you close that form with the button on the form, it only hides it. It doesn't close it. So to actually close it out of memory, you have to call the form close again. So we did that there. There you go. That's pretty much it. Now, we saw how you could see the different ones. Let's go ahead and actually create a new note. So let's bring up our contacts. We'll go to Akron. Akron already has one. We'll make a new note here. So we're going to enter a new note. We're going to say this is an email. We're going to put it in today's date, 08162012. We're going to save our entry. And we're going to open our memo manager. And there you go. It's blank. So we're going to put contact note. And we'll save it and close. There you go. Contact note. And if we go back to this one, this is a test. Contact note. See how easy that is? That's it, folks. I know there's a lot to look at, and I went through it fast. Pause the video, watch it again, experiment with it. This is an excellent way to control your notes and memo fields, and it gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility down the road. Thanks a lot again, and have a great day.